The art of a comeback is definitely a tricky one, and not many people are able to pull it off. We've seen countless and countless careers fall to the wayside and they've never been able to revitalize them. But we've seen others come back, like Robert Downey Jr. after being kicked out of Hollywood and all of a sudden being the face of Marvel. And Adrian Peterson in 2012 after coming off of a crazy ACL tear and winning the MVP. So comebacks are possible, but in hip hop, they're a little harder. You see, in hip hop, there's like this magical door where if you fall off or the people don't like you no more, it's really hard to get back into the good graces unless you come back with phenomenal music. And not many can do that. I mean, we've seen countless rappers fall off or fall to the wayside because of, let's say, personal things. Their music wasn't that good enough, you know, social media rants, etc., etc. But recently, we've seen two major comebacks. And so today, we'll be talking about those two. Chance the Rapper and Gunna. Two people that came back from entirely different situations, but came back nonetheless. But before we get into the video, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, follow me on my TikTok, follow me on my IG, and let's just get into it. Chance the Rapper was undoubtedly one of the rising stars of hip-hop in 2014 through 2019, where his magical run from acid rap to coloring books, appearing on movies, every late night TV show he could, commercials, his #3 hat was everywhere. You couldn't escape Chance the Rapper in the mid-2010s. Hell, this man won a Grammy off of a mixtape. He was that big. Chance was seen as one of the most lovable people on the planet Earth and was set to be the next big thing in hip hop. He was possibly being talked about as dethroning Drake and Kendrick Lamar at the time. That's how crazy his hype was. And so, while he had never dropped an album, we were all looking forward to his debut project. And then it came. July 26, 2019 marked the day that ended it all for Chance the Rapper. The big day, which is supposed to signify both his album release and I guess his marriage, which he wouldn't stop talking about on that album. The big day was Chance the Rapper's debut album, and when I say it was poo-pooed on, poo-poo isn't even the best word to describe how bad that album got trashed. You see, the problem with Chance the Rapper that people always had with him but wasn't vocal enough to say it at the time was they always felt like he was too happy-go-lucky, he was too mainstream, he was too this, he was too that. And so when it came to this album, he didn't silence those haters. He only amplified them. This album was the epitome of somebody that has gone full-on mainstream and decided to make a full-on mainstream hip-hop album. The album veered into so many different directions, from weird TikTok dance music, because TikTok at the time was really starting to rise up and dancers on TikTok was like the thing, to songs that sounded like they were going to be put on a Disney Channel high school movie, to songs talking about how much he loves his wife.
Oh, I love my wife. I love my wife. Ah!
Yeah, people didn't like all that happy stuff. Hip hop grew to love Chance the Rapper because what he talked about in his music was really insightful. It had a lot of meaning, it had a lot of depth. He would talk about drug addiction, you know, alcohol abuse, his family life, Chicago, and all these other things. But on the big day, he just talked about how much he was happy. Nobody wants to hear that. It didn't help that the music wasn't really that good either. But if you look at that album versus a coloring book, sonically, it's not too far off, at least with some of the songs. But because the subject matter feels a whole lot different, it gives it this Sesame Street feel. And after the public reception came out on that album, it was unfortunately over for Chance the Rapper as we knew him. You see, Chance would never really be able to bounce back from this. It's like one day he was the hottest and biggest rapper on the planet, and the next day the guy's social media presence was very scarce. The guy was going through a crazy divorce. They were finding videos of him in Carnival, you know, having fun. Let's just say that. To even people finding what his Twitter likes were. It was, he couldn't do anything correct for about 3 to 4 years. And honestly, I just kind of felt bad for the guy. Like, me, I was cool off Chance the Rapper music after that, I'm not gonna lie. But after seeing how many bad things happened to this guy in a row, you just had to feel for him. But even through all this, Chance was still dropping music. Every now and again, he'll give us a single, he'll give us 2 singles, he'll give us EPs. He was still consistently trying to put out music because at that point, that's all he could do. While nobody hated the guy Chance the Rapper, everybody hated the celebrity Chance the Rapper. So the only thing that he could do at that point was just make music and go hide again. Until August 15th, 2025, Starline dropped. Starline has single-handedly transformed and reshaped Chance the Rapper's career. A universally loved project by all, this album literally saved his career. Because what happened on this project is what people always fell in love with Chance for. He got introspective, he got insightful. A lot of the songs, and in fact, the entire album has some sort of meaning when it comes to black culture, you know, himself, the community, critiques on the church. It had everything that you wanted in a Chance the Rapper project. Not to mention the music was great, the bars were great, the rapping was at a high level. Chance the Rapper is the epitome of somebody who stayed down, kept grinding, kept working, even through all the noise. Even when he was in the fire, he came out a better rapper. So while Chance isn't seen as, you know, the superstar, megastar, movie star that he once was maybe 3-4 years ago, to rap fans, he's back. And we're all happy that we're getting great Chance the Rapper music again. We're all happy that we're getting Chance the Rapper on interviews. We're all happy that he's being seen and he's visible again. Because once you see him and once you hear the music, you'll remember, man, this is why I love this guy. But not everybody's gonna like you, even if you come back. Gunna from 2017 to 2022 was one of the best rappers in the game. I mean, it felt like every project, it was like 3 or 4 songs that were played on the radio constantly. You couldn't escape Gunna, especially because he was part of a trio with Lil Baby and Young Thug that honestly was carrying Atlanta music for a good couple of years. Lil Baby and Gunna being the best duo that we had in rap at the moment. With every song that they were on together was an out of the park smash. Drip Too Hard, Heating Up, Business is Business, Never Recover. Hell, even when he got with Young Thug, every song felt like it was a hit. Hot, Ski, Surf. Every rapper at that time was begging for a Gunna feature because they knew the song that they had, if they collab with Gunna, had the potential to go to the next level if he got on it. But when Young Thug and the rest of YSL was hit with those RICO charges, everything stopped. Hip hop froze. It felt like a crazy moment in time where everybody just stopped and we all focused our attention on what was going on in Atlanta. Where the entire YSL group, or in the legal case, gang, had a 56 count indictment put on them. Gunna would turn himself in, and man, he didn't want to stay in there long, I'll tell you that. About 6 months later, Gunna will be released after taking an Alford plea, and let's just say the internet erupted when that news broke. Gunna Is a Rap was spreading like wildfire on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, hell, even Facebook. Everybody was calling Gunna a snitch and a rat. Because we later found out that the deal included Gunna having to say that YSL was a gang, which potentially could have jeopardized everybody else involved in the case. So with everybody not really knowing the full story of how it all happened, everybody jumped to conclusions. And the biggest question was, is Gunna gonna make a comeback to music? And if he does, are people going to listen to him? That was the biggest question in hip hop at the time. Are people going to accept Gunna? Because we had already seen an example of somebody snitching and hip hop essentially kicking them out, and that was 6ix9ine not too many years beforehand. Now 6ix9ine had a whole other thing going on with him, including being a fake street guy, so that didn't really help with him. But the internet quickly realized, hey, Gunna's not a street guy. Gunna's not tough. He just hung around tough people. And so a lot of people felt, well, if you sign up for that life, now you have to live that life. There's no excuses. While others felt he was never about that. All he cared about was making music. So what if he ratted and he snitched? Street rules don't apply to everybody. Street rules honestly make no sense. So there was a lot of division and a lot of discourse when it came to Gunna. Until June 16th, 2023, where Gunna would drop his comeback album. It was a surprise drop. Nobody knew it was going to happen. And man, when I tell you, it shook the entire world. That album from top to bottom was fantastic and was received super well by everybody. Even the people that was calling him a snitch and a rat initially, they had no choice but to acknowledge the album was great. F You Mean was so popular that it shot up to the Billboard Hot 100 at number 4 and topping the Billboard Hot Hip Hop and R&B songs at number 1. You couldn't escape that song or that album in 2023 and in 2024. But even after that, the rat snitching allegations were still on him. But Gunna didn't care. He stuck his head down, was working out a lot, and was making great music, dropping 2 more albums since that album that respectively have both sold over 80,000 each. So it's safe to say Gunna made a significant comeback. And he wasn't really worried too much about the haters or how people will receive him. Especially because I would argue Gunna is bigger now than when he went into jail beforehand. The guy has sold out arenas by himself. The guy started a run club. The guy is signed by Under Armour. He has NFL partnerships. Gunna is more visible and more seen than he ever was before. And while yes, he was a Grammy nominated artist before he went into jail, when he came out, he became a superstar. And he was, again, proof that even though you might have a loud group of haters, if the music is that good, it doesn't matter what those haters think. In hip hop, it was almost impossible for you to beat the snitching allegations, but he did. And so for him to come back from jail, beat the snitching allegations, and to be one of the best rappers out right now, even if you feel like he is a rat or not, it's still very impressive. So in hip hop, while it may seem unlikely that you could make a comeback, it definitely is possible. You could be at the tippity top and fall off. You could be at the peak of your career and fall off. But how you respond is how people will view you for the rest of your career.